Join the coven. I found a recipe box service on the dark web. Part 2. A story written by Sam Riding. Links to his social media and the Part 1 video will be available in the description down below. The men in rubber uniforms still held their ominous vigil outside our apartment when I finally decided to call the emergency services. My girlfriend was still struggling for breath. Only now she was clawing at her throat with clammy gray fingers. She was in agony. I grabbed my cell phone and hammered out 911 on the delicate touchscreen. 911, what is your emergency? Came a calm, male voice. I need an ambulance to 53 Stormont Road. My voice broke up as the image of my dying girlfriend flooded my thoughts. And the cops too. There are these men outside my apartment. They're not letting us leave. Stay calm for me, sir. The voice replied in dulcet tones. I can dispatch emergency medical services to you immediately. But you need to describe these men for me so the police officers can respond appropriately. They have these rubber suits on and masks on, like biohazard suits or something. I tried to describe the men's attire the best I could, but my mind was overwhelmed with flashing images of my girlfriend, the way she clawed at her own throat with those fingers. They were barely fingers anymore. They were changed. Do you have any idea why those men are there, sir? Are they armed? The dispatcher asked. The question was a dagger of fear piercing my guts. With my phone still in my grip, I hurried over to the window and peered through a crack in the curtains. Down below, completely blocking the driveway to our apartment building, was a pair of unremarkable gray trucks surrounded by the rubber-suited men. I couldn't immediately make out any weapons. The most threatening thing any of the men were carrying were some variety of sensory reader, almost like those Geiger counters used to detect radiation. At least until one of the men opened up the back of the truck and began to put on some kind of backpack consisting of 2 pressurized containers. Squinting my eyes, I studied the 2 containers until I recoiled in horror. They both had the chemical symbol for flammable liquid stenciled on the steel shells. Oh my God! Oh my Jesus Christ! They have a flamethrower or something. Please God, hurry! I think they're gonna burn us alive. I jabbered into my cell phone, feeling my heart beginning to race. I'll ask you again, sir. Have you any idea why those men are there? The dispatcher asked again. We ordered something online and... Look, my girlfriend is really sick. Just please tell me the ambulance and cops are on their way. What did you eat, sir? There was a pause. I realized that there was no background ambience on the phone at all. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first time I had to call 911, and I always noted the background noises that any busy call center produces. With this call, there was none of that, just an eerie silence as I waited for the dispatcher's reply. What? I didn't tell you anything about... We want to help you, sir. We need to know what you ate. You need to let us inside. Anger boiled up inside me, mixing with the panic and terror that had already burned in my chest. I hadn't been talking to emergency services at all. A quick check of my phone screen showed me that I had no bars inside my apartment. Whoever was outside was blocking the signal. Who is this? I growled down the line. Whoever the hell this is, I swear to God that... I already told you, sir. We're here to help. In a fit of rage, I hurled my cell phone at the wall, watching it smash into pieces as a huge dent in the plaster appeared in its wake. Right then, I heard a faint hissing sound, straining my ears to locate the source of the noise. It didn't take long to find it was something from the front door of my apartment, as a sickly blue-green vapor began to creep under the door. They were trying to gas us out. I ran to the bathroom, soaking a towel in cold water before hurtling back towards the front door. I held my breath as I stuffed the towel under the door frame, preventing the gas from flooding the apartment and buying my girlfriend and me a little more time. But then, I began to hear the pounding of heavy boots in the hallway outside. A man began to bark in martial tones, his voice muffled by the rubber of his mask. The door shook under the weight of some unseen force. More force applied this time. They were trying to break in. With trembling hands, I pulled out the old baseball bat I used to play with as a child from a storage closet, shouldering it as I prepared to swing on whatever was about to burst through the door and into the apartment. Try it, jerks. You just freaking try it. But it was empty bravado. My newfound bravery melting away as the wooden door began to slip and fall away. The man that entered was covered in body armor from head to toe, a huge sledgehammer held tightly in his grip. I backed off, terror gnawing at my guts as the hammer bearer made way for another man, the same man with the flammable liquid on his back, a man that had now attached a nozzle and pipe to the liquid, a man who intended to burn me alive. I dropped the baseball bat, tears flooding my eyes as I finally gave in. This was the end. They'd burn me, then burn my girlfriend, then wipe away any evidence that we had ever existed from the earth. We'd be a myth, a rumor, vaporized and evaporated from the stream of history. Yet, in what I thought would be my final moments on this earth, a blur of motion grabbed my attention. It smashed into the man with the flamethrower, casting aside his ape-faced colleague as a hazy shape began to tear them limb from limb. Body armor was pulled away, limbs torn from torsos, all to the soundtrack of muffled rubber screams as faceless men became lifeless too. I had covered my eyes, barely able to watch the carnage unfold before me. But when I opened them, what stood before me made me sick with confusion and fear. A creature with mottled gray skin and watery dead eyes looked down at me with a hollow smile. Its hair was falling away from its scalp, revealing strange bone structures that resembled some kind of horrid crown. But something on the glistening putrid flesh of the creature's thigh made my breath catch in my throat. It was a symbol that looked an awful lot like something my girlfriend had tattooed, and its eyes, the dead eyes, were still that beautiful shade of hazel that I had fallen so madly in love with many years before. Lisa, is that you? I asked, salt tears of confusion and despair forming in my eyes. But it wasn't Lisa. Not anymore.